You may have seen some of the World Economic Forum's videos on Facebook over the last few years. They usually highlight technological developments or ideas like this one. But who are the World Economic Forum? What's their connection to the United Nations? And what exactly are they trying to achieve? The World Economic Forum are probably most widely known for their invitation-only annual conference at Davos in Switzerland, where around 3,000 of the world's wealthy and prominent meet every year to discuss major global issues. Here's Prince Charles speaking at Davos in January this year.
Do we want to go down in history as the people who did nothing to bring the world back from the brink in time to restore the balance when we could have done? I don't want to. And just think for a moment, what good is all the extra wealth in the world gained from business as usual if you can do nothing with it except watch it burn in catastrophic conditions? It is my greatest possible hope that you will join me this year in accelerating the transition to sustainable markets and rapid decarbonization. Ladies and gentlemen, you all have a seat at the table, as this must be the year that we put ourselves on the right track.
The WEF was founded in 1971 as the European Management Forum by Klaus Schwab, a German engineer and economist. In the summer of that year, reportedly with funding from the European Commission, the first annual meeting was held at Davos. In 1987, it became the World Economic Forum and continued to grow in prominence, but not without controversy. In October 2004, its chief executive officer, Jose Maria Figueres, resigned over the undeclared receipt of $900,000 from a French telecoms firm. Here's Schwab speaking on the 3rd of June this year.
It's obvious that we are in the midst of the most severe crisis the world has experienced since World War II. 75 years ago, countries and people came together to shape the post-war global order, which brought us decades of peace, increased global cooperation and prosperity to hundreds of millions of people around the world. The COVID-19 crisis has shown us that our old systems are not fit anymore for the 21st century. It has laid bare the fundamental lack of social cohesion, fairness, inclusion, and equality. Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight severe virus, but to shape the system for the need for the post-corona era. We have a choice: to remain passive, which would lead to the amplification of many of the trends we see today: polarization, nationalism, racism, and ultimately increased social unrest and conflicts. But we have another choice. We can build a new social contract, particularly integrating the next generation. We can change our behavior to be in harmony with nature again, and we can make sure that the technologies of the fourth industrial revolution are best utilized to provide us with better lives. In short, we need a great reset.
Nearly 50 years after founding the WEF, Schwab is still the executive chairman of a board whose number include Mark Carney, the ex-governor of the Bank of England, Lawrence Fink of BlackRock, the company that apparently pay ex-UK Chancellor of the Exchequer George Osborne £650,000 per year for working 1 day per week, climate politician Al Gore, and Christine Lagarde of the IMF. Schwab himself is reportedly a former member of the steering committee of the secretive Bilderberg Group, and according to an article in the New York Times in 2002, he claimed he was a board member of the Daily Mail's global media parent company. The World Economic Forum organisation consists of a hierarchy consisting of strategic partners, strategic partner associates, partners, associate partners, and so on. Around 1,000 of the world's largest organisations typically with turnovers in excess of $5 billion, are members. The WEF generates revenues in the hundreds of millions of dollars per year. It apparently charges its strategic partners an annual membership fee of over $600,000 per year, and its industry partners around half that amount. It has assets of well over $500 million. But what are they trying to achieve? Whilst the WEF claims simply to be a network, it's very clear from the media that the WEF produces that they have an agenda, and we can clearly see where they're attempting to lead people. It's a green agenda, a globalist agenda, and it says that now is the time to, and I quote, press the reset button on capitalism. This WEF Great Reset project appears to be the greatest economic and social engineering project of all time. An epic global grand plan that makes Marxism, communism, fascism and other ideological conceptions seem almost small by comparison. In 2019, the WEF and the United Nations signed a strategic partnership framework to accelerate the implementation of the UN's 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, a plan that has been signed up to by every one of the national governments of the United Nations. The agreement was signed by Klaus Schwab and Antonio Guterres, the UN Secretary General, in June 2019. Guterres is an ex-Prime Minister of Portugal and ex-President of Socialist International, a worldwide organisation of political parties from over 100 countries who seek to implement socialism worldwide. The COVID-19 pandemic appears to be the triggering event that makes it all possible. The WEF have wasted no time at all in responding. The lightning speed of their response has caused some to think it was all pre-planned. The idea of a great reset predates the emergence of the virus, and how would it ever have been possible to get the entire global economy to take a sudden, radical change in direction otherwise? The World Economic Forum have put together a huge, comprehensive, strategic intelligence website that provides publications, videos and data resources on each of the myriad of interlinked issues to support their manifesto, including global governance. And that's the big question. The WEF may have nailed the problem. The global environment may be at a tipping point. With consumption at current levels, and with a growing population and growing consumption per person, it may not be possible to continue as before without irrevocably destroying the planet. The World Economic Forum's videos look great and seem to present a sharing and inclusive approach, something people might vote for. But should we, the people of this planet, be seduced into accepting the imposition of a solution, perhaps early in 2021, provided by this unelected and unaccountable organisation of the wealthy and powerful, to avoid the otherwise terrible and devastating economic consequences of this global pandemic? What happens if we, the global citizens, don't agree with its policies, its agenda, or its executive decisions? How would we scrutinise their decisions, their approaches, their motivations? What processes are in place to do that? None. These individuals have deep involvement in the media, and therefore influence or even control the news and information that reaches us. But if we don't agree with their decisions, can we elect others instead? No. So what will keep them in check? What consequences will they suffer if they fail to serve us, the global citizenry, and instead, as we know people in power ultimately always otherwise do, serve themselves? None. There will be no consequences. If you look on the World Economic Forum's website for the page that outlines their democratic processes, you will not find it, because it does not exist. Yet they are clearly setting the agenda for governments around the world. They are working directly with the UN to deliver their agenda.
Clearly, I consider the Trump administration a danger to the world, but I regard it as a purely temporary phenomenon that will disappear in 2020.
Thanks for watching. Please share your thoughts by commenting below, and please do share this video. People really do need to know about this. Thank you.